Hi, everyone. I am now going to be sharing with you some ideas for your classroom on how you can implement the lessons from the EOCCC document. So currently I am showing to you some lesson plans that were taken right from the lessons in the EOCC grade 4 and how they were put together for a grade 4 class to integrate the cell component along with the lesson. So I'm just going to give you a synopsis of what we did, some examples from student work, and hopefully this will get you inspired to use these ideas or additional ones in your classroom. So we are in the grade 4 lesson. It links around emotion and they integrate art and emotion. So in the class, we started with a community circle. I always like to start, and our cell partners like to start or end a class with some form of community circle to just regroup. And in our case, we were talking about how are you feeling today and what emotions do we experience daily. Just building an awareness around emotions that everybody goes through them and that they change throughout the day. And that's absolutely normal. In the EOCC lessons, it has a section on scaling your feelings to these questions. So I've just put it up in a slide deck here. How much do you feel you belong in your school? How do you feel needed in this class? And how hard do you work to make others feel? So each student in their mind, we did not have them share orally, had to scale it from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. And the reason we did this without them sharing ahead was because we wanted them to reflect on if wherever they are feeling in their class and how they belong, what can they do then to help the class become more of what they would like it to be. So you'll see this in the next section. Now, consider if everyone put a 10, 10 again being the best, right? If everyone put a 10, what would the class look like? What would be different? And what can you do personally to make that change happen? So it's just a great reflective piece so students can think about where they are right now in terms of their own sense of belonging in the classroom and what would they like to see their classroom look like and how can they be part of that change within the classroom. Then from there, we went into discussing emotions, and I wanted to get a sense of what they already knew about emotions. And then we did some linking it to what emotions do these pieces make you feel. So we have a couple of images on here that we used for discussion starters, but I also took some posters from our art kits that are at all the schools in our Ottawa Catholic School Board. All the elementary schools have a kit of art images, and we pulled out a few of them and then had the students make links to a variety of different images and how the pieces make them feel and making some predictions on why they think the piece makes them feel the way it does. Then we generated lists, which we did on the whiteboard, of emotion words. Okay, we did it on chart paper, or actually we did it on the whiteboard. We can do it on chart paper, put it right on the slides here. So I put a couple of slides together, which again, I'll be sharing with this slide deck. There will be a link to this slide deck that anyone can use, and you'll be able to put your own class list brainstorms on there if you would like to. Okay. Then we showed a video clip on emotion and art and looking at line and how it evokes emotion. And we started the video around 9 minutes, 8 seconds. Then had a quick discussion about how the line was used and what the illustrator and author was saying in the video clip around line and its connection to emotion. Now, the next lesson that we moved into was practicing line and color to create emotion. So the students had an opportunity to, we created these sample sheets for them where they were working on these paper sheets, and they had to draw a variety of different types of lines and name the type of emotion that that line would evoke. Then they did the same thing for color. Using different types of color, what kinds of emotions would that evoke? This lesson then led into the next stage of the lesson, which was designing masks that would show more than one emotion. So they had to sketch using their concept now of understanding line and color, mask that was kind of based on Picasso style of art creation. They had to create an image of the mask that they would like to create, and the types of line they would use and what kind of emotion they were trying to portray. So from there, they took their sample that they created on paper and now used cardstock to create the faces that they had designed. Then they had to think about what colors they were going to use in order to, and the texture and the shapes that they were going to use to create the very specific emotions that they were designing. Most of them designed 2 emotions on their face. So here's some examples from St. Rita's Catholic School, the grade 4 class, some examples of the work that they created. Now, like any art form, we can't really get a full sense of what the creator or the artist was thinking until we actually talk with them. So the teacher then led the students into doing some oral responses on Flipgrid, where the students got an opportunity to share their exact reasoning behind the shape, color, and form of their mask and what emotions that this mask was evoking. So I'm going to see if we can open this up here. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Oh, that's not allowing me to. So, okay, so here we are. We're in one of the video clips that we're just going to show you and allow you to listen to part of what the student does to share their thinking behind their art piece.
Shell's face. Hey, today I'm going to tell you things about my face. My face has 2 sides. One side is mad, the other side is happy. The happy side has purple, white, and yellow hair. My happy side also has a normal sized eyebrow. My happy side also has a yellow dot underneath my eye. There is also half a circle at the side of my happy side. That is my cheek, which is also the color blue. My happy side also has a purple smile, and I have a red heart on top of my smile. My happy side has half of a nose. The half of the nose is in the middle of my face. My happy side can smell from a very far distance away. My happy side can smell cake, cupcakes, cookies, flowers, and candy. My happy side can touch flowers, paint, candy, and water. My happy side can see flowers, trees, movies, and the whole world, and also my family. My happy side can hear birds
A little bit about their
chirping
other side.
half a circle. That is the color red. My mad side also has a sad smile. My sad smile is the color purple. And on top of my purple sad smile, there is a burgundy heart. My mad side has a half a circle on my cheek. On my mad side has a thick eyebrow.
Okay, we're going to stop that there so you can get a sense of that the students were then taking their learning and then linking it to emotion. Okay, so this was the beginnings, the first 3 lessons that we worked on were just the beginnings of opening up discussion around emotion and linking it. Then we move into stress and stress management. So I'm just going to pause here for a second so I can take you back to the slide deck. Okay, so here we are. So you've got a sense now that they've done their oral responses on Flipgrid. Then I just want to highlight for you what we've linked into this slide deck are what areas of social emotional learning were being addressed in those lessons before we even got into talking about stress management, and how emotions evoke certain responses within our bodies, and how are we aware of this. So just for the lessons previously, we were looking at students developing a sense of self-awareness and self-management, specifically identifying emotions and some accurate self-perception. Then we're also looking at things like self-discipline, self-motivation, some goal setting in there in terms of their oral responses and the creation of their masks. Then we also made links to the art curriculum, some very specific areas such as emphasis, use of color, intensity, contrast and value, placement and size and shape, and weight of line to create a particular focal point. We use some elements of design like creating 2 and 3 dimensional works of art, use of elements of design in artworks to communicate ideas, messages, and understanding. So those are just a couple of the areas that we linked through the art curriculum. And then we also made links to the language curriculum, specifically the oral language, speaking to communicate. So let me pick a couple here: identifying a variety of purposes for speaking, and use a variety of appropriate visual aids to support or enhance our oral presentations. So that was just the beginnings using the EOCCC document. Then now we're going to be moving into identifying, like I said earlier, stress management, how emotions evolve, and what to do when emotions become so overwhelming and you're not sure how to manage them. So that's our next steps in this grade 4 class. And you can see that the EOCCC document was a great start to opening up this discussion and allowing social emotional learning to be a key component of the classroom environment. So thank you, and I hope this is helpful for you.